So the Eagles dropped their first division game of the season to the Washington Redskins. They lost 17-12. Um, they also lost Michael Vick and LaShawn McCoy to injuries. Both injuries are pretty big when you think about it, because LaShawn McCoy is their best running back, and if he's out, then I guess Andy Reid's going to completely abandon the run like he always does when his starter gets hurt. And of course, Michael Vick is hurt for 2 to 3 weeks with broken cartilage in his rib area. I think the McCoy injury is probably the bigger injury here. I know a lot of people are probably going to disagree with me and say they can't win with Kolb. I don't agree with that at all. But I look at this game and I see a couple things. One thing I saw was the defense just is so inconsistent. They can't tackle when they need to. They can't stop tight ends. They can't stop running backs, which are glaring issues, especially this weekend when you're facing a good tight end and Vernon Davis and Frank Gore, a good running back. A team that's desperate, a team that's 0-4. They're still in the hunt in their division because their division sucks. I mean, let's be honest here. The NFC West is just a terrible division. But they're still in the thick of things. And this is a nationally broadcast game. They don't want to look bad again, so they're going to be desperate. They're at home. The Eagles' defense has not played consistent at all this year. And this is a game that could honestly go either way. I think they're going to win. I do think the Eagles are going to win. But this game could be another letdown for the Eagles. Now, there's a lot of people crucifying Kevin Kolb. And I still I can't wrap my head around this. I can't understand why people want this guy to fail so bad. I don't understand it. If you're a fan of the Eagles and you can't support your quarterback, regardless of who it is, whether it's Donovan McNabb, whether it's Kevin Kolb, whether it's Michael Vick, or Mike Kafka, or A.J. Feely, or Coy Detmer, or Ty Detmer, or Doug Peterson, or Mike McMahon, or Jeff Garcia, if you can't support the quarterback of your team, what kind of fan are you? I don't like Michael Vick. Like, there's things about Michael Vick I don't like. But he's shown that he's a better quarterback than he was in Atlanta. Forget about the dog thing. He served his time. He deserves a second chance. But when he's the quarterback, when he's under center, I want him to do well. I want him to succeed. Because I'm an Eagles fan and I want my team to succeed. I can't root for a guy to fail just because I don't like him or because I don't think he's going to be anything. Because honestly, I don't know what Kevin Kolb's going to be. I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to be the next Drew Brees or he's going to be the next Bobby Hoying. He might be neither of them. He might be a good middle-of-the-road guy who most people will probably forget about in 5 years. Or he might be a decent quarterback who a lot of people look at and say, you know what, he's a pretty good quarterback. He might suck. He might be great. But we don't know until he plays more than 4 games. Honestly, he took what the defense gave him. Was his decision-making great in that game? No, it wasn't great. But he did, move the ball down the field a couple times. McCoy's fumble in the third quarter hurt them. Andy Reid not having a play call when he had 5 minutes during a review, and then he took a timeout after that review. He had plenty of time to call a play or have a play ready or prepared in case they didn't get in the end zone there, or no matter where the ball is spotted. That's all on Reid. I mean, that's a touchdown. I mean, that should be 7 points instead of 3. You go into halftime, I think, 17-10? I mean, these are things that this team continues to have problems with. I mean, they can't stop a tight end. They can't stop a running back. It's the same things every week. So to crucify Kevin Kolb, especially when he hit Jason Avant in the end zone, covered by 3 guys in the final seconds of the game, a pass that hits Avant in the hands and he drops it. To crucify Kevin Kolb for losing this game is just... It's wrong. It's wrong because he didn't play bad. He wasn't great. He wasn't spectacular, but he played well enough to win that game, and the play calling let him down. And honestly, the guys around him let him down again too. He actually showed some elusiveness. I actually thought he looked pretty elusive on some of those plays. He got out of sacks. He got out of tackles. He moved around in the pocket. I mean, he'll be fine with a good offensive line. Right now, you can't root for the guy to fail. He needs to weather the storm until Michael Vick can come back. And speaking of that, what happens if Kevin Kolb plays well? What happens if he is pretty good and he does win them the next 3 games going into the bye, and Michael Vick comes back? And what do you say to Michael Vick? Do you say, well, now Kevin Kolb's playing well, so we're going to go with him? Or do you say to Kevin Kolb, who's played well and won you 3 games, we're going to go back to this guy? What do you say? I mean, what do you do? Either way, you're going to hurt. You're going to make someone angry, but what do you do? I mean, there's so many questions right now that we can't be sitting here crucifying guys on this team. The only guy who deserves criticism is the coach, because he's shown that he's still not prepared. So, I think the Eagles win this weekend, despite the fact that they've got to play a good tight end and a good running back and a desperate team. But, there's a lot of X factors in this game that could go either way. So I'm predicting an Eagles win. I'm not predicting scores. I don't like predicting scores, but we'll see what happens. Support the quarterback, please. I don't want to hear people calling up all the talk shows saying Kevin Kolb sucks. They're never going to win with him, because some of those people are going to be the first people to say, oh, I always liked Kevin Kolb when he does well. And, well, that makes you a hypocrite, pretty much. But support the quarterback. He'll be fine. They'll win this game. The next 2 games I'm a little worried about because they're playing some good teams. But support the quarterback. That's all I want to say. That's what I want to end this video with. Support Kevin Kolb. He'll be fine. Just relax. And let's win this game.